Indigenous Rights Radio, because knowledge is power.
From November 10 to 21st, 2025, the UN Climate Change Conference, commonly referred to as COP30, is taking place in Belém, Brazil. The city, called the gateway to the Amazon rainforest, this major global meeting has gathered government representatives from 198 countries, alongside UN bodies, civil society, academia, private sector, and significant delegations of indigenous peoples, women, and youth. Notably, this year has the largest ever participation of indigenous peoples in the conference series, with over 3,000 indigenous delegates registered. Cultural survival is engaging with indigenous leaders and their representatives to understand their goals for COP30.
I'm Edna Kaptoyo from the Pokot peoples of Kenya. And as an indigenous woman, I came to the COP30 because I had expectations really to push for the respect of rights of indigenous peoples as a collective, but also to push for the participation and engagement of indigenous people in the negotiation space. During the first week of COP30, what I've seen and acknowledged is that there is good advancement in the just transition negotiation, that respect for indigenous people's rights, as well as those indigenous peoples in voluntary isolation, at least is acknowledged, and also some discussions in mitigation that really acknowledges the importance of land tenure rights for indigenous people, because this is key. However, it's disappointing to see a lagging behind of discussions around just transition and food systems. And food systems is essential for indigenous people because that's where we revive our traditional knowledge, we innovate, and also ensure our collective well-being and heritage, and also our identity as peoples. So I hope in the coming week we will be able to influence a lot of these discussions and also be able to push for the recognition of rights of our traditional food systems, but also other elements, recognition of our traditional indicators into the global goal on adaptation, but also calling for other areas where we need to strengthen and really to foster traditional knowledge and also indigenous people participation in influencing policy and action, not only at this global space, but also countries will uptake in the upcoming processes in their nationally determined contributions. So for indigenous women from Africa, we join other indigenous women globally in the Indigenous Women Summit. And for us, the important is really not only to recognize the collective rights, but really look at the important rights and also custodial importance that indigenous women are the holders of traditional knowledge, and we help the intergenerational transfer of the stewardship knowledge of the landscapes which global humanity needs, and to acknowledge that indigenous women, we are not vulnerable, we are actors and already innovating at the local level, supporting communities to build resilience, and we are already doing initiatives on adaptation, weather mitigation, and our voice needs to be here. We need to have space to bring our stories of change as indigenous women from the local level, and we want others to hear, and so that government can also engage us at the national level to inform policies, and bring our practices on board, because I don't see much national level involvement and acknowledgement of the importance of traditional knowledge. It's still lagging within the nationally determined contribution in the national adaptation plans, and we want to see indigenous women also having a seat at the table, because we are important actors. If you leave us behind, then everybody is not going to achieve the climate resilience that everyone looks at globally, because we are key actors, but also we have key ideas that we can bring on board based on our lessons as indigenous women. But also we've been able to use the little resources we have to cause change at the local level, and we need support for resources, direct access to climate finance, so that we can be able to scale up these efforts and continue to support not only our communities, but those outside our communities and the globe, and to bring those lessons and to engage with other allies. So we implore other allies to support us as well in this call for recognition of our rights, but also to really foster the strengthening and enhancing access of climate finance directly to communities and indigenous women-led organizations. Let's continue fighting for our rights. Let's continue building solidarity, all of us, whether from Africa, Asia. Let's continue working together as we have. We'll go a long way, and let's keep on building on the gains, but also close on the gaps that we are seeing in this global negotiation space.
For more information on the rights of indigenous peoples, visit cs.org and follow Cultural Survival on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, and Blue Sky.